Tonight, we begin with a story that has left the entertainment world shaken. A man celebrated not only for his music, but for the energy and heart he brought to late-night television. Cleto Escobedo III, the longtime band leader of Jimmy Kimmel Live and a lifelong friend of Jimmy Kimmel himself, has died at the age of 59. His death certificate reveals a heartbreaking series of medical complications, with cardiogenic shock listed as the immediate cause. It was supported by vasodilatory shock, disseminated intravascular coagulation, and alcoholic cirrhosis of the liver. Additional contributing conditions included sepsis, chronic kidney disease, pneumonia, and the effects of immunosuppression. For many fans, Cleto was more than a musician. He was a familiar face, a steady presence, and a joyful spirit who helped define the show's sound from the moment it premiered in 2003. And tonight, we take a closer look at his remarkable life, his passing, and the legacy he leaves behind. According to TMZ, which obtained the official document, the medical picture paints a tragic and complex story. Cardiogenic shock, the failure of the heart to pump enough blood to sustain the body, is extremely dangerous and often fatal without rapid intervention. The Mayo Clinic notes that while it can follow a major heart attack, not all cases begin that way, and the decline can be swift. In Cleto's case, his condition was compounded by multiple organ-related challenges: cirrhosis, severe infection, and clotting complications, creating a cascade that became impossible for doctors to reverse. It's a stark reminder of how quickly health can spiral, even for someone whose daily presence exuded energy and passion. For years, Escobedo stood just a few feet away from Jimmy Kimmel during every broadcast, leading Cleto and the Cletones with effortless skill. His music set the rhythm for the show, and his personality brought warmth to millions of viewers watching from home. Jimmy Kimmel himself confirmed the heartbreaking news with an emotional tribute on Instagram, calling Cleto a great friend, father, son, musician, and man. But the weight of his words went even deeper when he shared that he and Cleto had been inseparable since childhood, their bond stretching back to when Kimmel was only 9. For them, Jimmy Kimmel Live wasn't just a job. It was a dream they grew into together, a shared chapter they never imagined would become real. Kimmel noted that having Cleto by his side every day was one of the greatest blessings of his life. And for viewers, that chemistry was undeniable. Their friendship was woven into the spirit of the show, not just through the music, but through the laughter, the subtle exchanges, and the trust that radiated between them on screen. As the news spread, fans and colleagues alike expressed deep grief, recognizing how profound this loss truly is. In past interviews, Kimmel described Cleto as a child prodigy, a musician whose talent was evident from an early age. Before joining the show in 2003, Cleto had already toured with legendary acts like Earth, Wind and Fire and Paula Abdul, carving out a respected reputation in the music world. His father, Cleto Escobedo Sr., also a gifted saxophonist, appeared on the show regularly and performed in place of his son during the November 11 taping, the same day Jimmy opened the episode in tears. He called it the hardest monologue he had ever delivered. In 2021, during a featurette for Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month, Cleto reflected on his journey, calling Jimmy Kimmel Live the best gig ever. He credited his father for sacrificing his own career to raise him, shaping the musician and the man he became. His story was one of love, family, and dedication, and it continues to resonate now more than ever. As tributes continue to pour in, the atmosphere around the show has shifted noticeably. Crew members, longtime viewers, and musicians who worked with Cleto have described the set as unusually quiet, almost reverent. For a man who spent his life filling rooms with sound, his absence feels especially heavy. The decision to cancel the episodes scheduled for November 12th and 13th reflects just how deeply this loss has affected everyone involved. And when Cleto Sr. stepped in to play with the band on November 11th, the moment was both emotional and symbolic. It served as a reminder of the family legacy that Cleto carried forward with such pride. Even in grief, the show honored him the way musicians often honor each other, not with silence, but with music played through tears and memories. It was a moment that underlined just how intertwined Cleto's personal and professional worlds truly were. What made Cleto's presence so distinctive was the effortless way he blended musical mastery with a warm, approachable energy. On a show built around comedy, interviews, and the unpredictable nature of live television, Cleto offered a grounding presence. He didn't seek the spotlight, yet he became a part of the fabric of the program simply by being himself. Off stage, he was known as someone who encouraged younger musicians, shared stories freely, and maintained a humble attitude despite decades of accomplishments. And when fans look back at their favorite episodes, they may not immediately point to the band leader in the corner, but his sound shaped the mood, bridged transitions, and elevated every moment on screen. This subtle influence is a powerful reminder of how essential his role truly was, even if it unfolded quietly behind the scenes. His artistry guided the show as much as any joke or monologue. As details regarding his health have emerged, many viewers are reflecting on the broader conversation around chronic conditions and the pressures faced by working musicians. Cardiogenic shock, cirrhosis, and sepsis are not isolated issues. They often develop over time, sometimes unnoticed until they reach a breaking point. Cleto's passing highlights how difficult it can be for performers to balance demanding schedules with long-term well-being. And for someone who spent decades touring, recording, and performing live, the toll can accumulate quietly. Analysts note that while the entertainment industry has made progress in addressing mental health, physical health challenges still tend to remain behind closed doors. Cleto's story may spark renewed awareness, reminding people that even those who appear vibrant on stage may be fighting unseen battles. And perhaps it will encourage greater support systems for artists who dedicate their lives to bringing joy to others. For Jimmy Kimmel, this loss is both personal and professional. When he described Cleto as someone he'd been inseparable from since childhood, it wasn't hyperbole. It was a reflection of decades of shared milestones, dreams, setbacks, and triumphs. Their friendship grew into a partnership that shaped one of television's most beloved late-night shows. And while audiences watched the humor, the interviews, and the performances unfold each night, what they often didn't see was the trust that made it all work. That trust, built across a lifetime, is what made Kimmel's tribute so raw and emotional. He spoke not as a host, but as a friend saying goodbye far too soon. Now, as he urges viewers to keep Cleto's family in their thoughts and prayers, it's clear that the road ahead will be one of healing, reflection, and honoring the legacy of a man who helped define the show's spirit. As we close tonight's coverage, Cleto Escobedo III's story stands as a reminder of how profoundly one person can impact so many lives. His music shaped a television era, his kindness shaped countless relationships, and his journey from a young prodigy inspired by his father to the beloved leader of the Cletones left a mark that will not fade. Fans continue to share memories, fellow musicians continue to offer condolences, and the late-night community reflects on how rare a presence like his truly is. While his passing leaves a void, the legacy he built lives on in every performance, every laugh shared with Jimmy, and every moment of joy his music brought into people's homes. Tonight, we honor not just a band leader, but a man whose life reminds us to cherish our friendships, value our passions, and recognize the quiet heroes whose influence echoes long after the final note.